So, the last group of you left off, you had been requested by Sediro Enterprises to investigate a rebel faction of people who have been ransacking multiple caravans for the past couple weeks along the Long Road. This caravan originates from Mirabar, a prominent dwarven city where a lot of these precious metals are mined and then shipped south back to Waterdeep so that it can be used for various purposes within Sedir Enterprises. Finding that your timetable probably would not allow you to catch back up with this most recent shipment, you guys decided to just bypass intersecting with them altogether and rush straight to Mirabar to speak with the proprietor in this dwarven city to try to figure out if you guys can become an escort for the next convoy in an attempt to ambush the ambushers. You had set out from Waterdeep late in the afternoon and spent some time riding on horseback, getting closer to Amphail. And as you guys made a couple stops along the way, you were warned of a green dragon that was seen roaming around the parts. And as luck would have it, the group of you had ended up encountering this vicious creature as it swarmed down looking for a tasty snack, but you all quickly show that it had made a terrible mistake. After taking some time to harvest what you could from the corpse of this green dragon, you all had stopped for the evening and attempted to just rest. And as you wake up the following morning, where we will begin, you guys find yourselves short one horse than you had the previous day, as that green dragon had released some kind of poisonous gas that seemed to instantly kill it. So, what would you guys like to do?
I do have one question. Do we have any idea if we're taking the same path that the transport would have taken from Mirabar to Waterdeep?
Yep, you are, as far as you know, taking that very same path.
Okay. And we were told kind of more specifically the general area where it disappeared, right?
Yeah,
Like
you
mountains.
were you were told somewhere in this vicinity, somewhere between Yartar Triborder and that Sword Mountain range. That's where the caravans were being hit.
Okay. And we're in where that circle is right now.
Yes, that's a rough approximation.
Okay.
But you
Um,
all go ahead.
I was gonna say the first thing I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna cast Find Seed.
Yeah, absolutely. As you take,
My mount be a Manticore.
is that what you're trying to create?
No, I'll just do a regular horse
Like a
looking
warhorse for
spirit.
yourself, or?
Um,
'Cause let's see here.
well, I mean, as the
Yeah, so a
it
warhorse,
is
a
a massive
pony.
wall of text.
It's a what?
It's a massive wall of text.
Yeah, so you can either get a warhorse, a pony, a camel, an elk, or a mastiff.
Or something else up to GM's discretion. I'd go Warhorse then.
Okay, yeah. So as dawn approaches and you all kind of stir from your slumber, the group of you kind of see Calarian just sitting there meditating for a few moments, just praying to Bahamut. And then as you all kind of stir from your sleep and your eyes look in his direction, you see now this horse, this massively proportioned horse, just sturdy and firm, and it apparates seemingly out of nowhere. Kind of lowers its head a little bit in your direction, Calarian.
Um, it doesn't need to eat, does it? I would assume no, because it's a spirit thing.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to eat.
Unless it needs to eat souls or something, and then this game changes weirdly.
No, I don't think it needs to
Um,
eat, but I would say that it probably needs to rest as per other horses. I don't think you can ride it just straight out for 24 hours straight.
As the stats of the chosen form, though it's not normal.
Yeah. So it has an intelligence of 6. It can understand one language that you choose that you can speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing about eating, so I got extra feet, I guess, then.
Okay.
But that is not an important detail.
I would say because it's a spirit, it probably doesn't need to eat, but it would need to rest, like I said, like a normal creature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the weather is clear and warm. You can feel a slight breeze coming from the north this morning, and as you all kind of arrange to have a breakfast meal together, you guys can set out at any time.
Ugh, all right. Any votes on what Ellis's goal of the day should be?
survive.
Well, do you want to try and top what you did yesterday? Or
Time?
Fly under your own power, Ellis. Does that sound interesting to you?
You guys are all quiet. I have to turn you up. Give me 1 sec.
you're kind of quiet too.
What? I'm not quiet.
You sound different from last week.
You know what? Give me 3 seconds.
Sound like you're a good distance from your mic.
Thought you were gonna say it sounds like you're being waterboarded again.
No,
Just
because you
stick.
were like
Just
kind of
stick
flowing
with
in and
it.
out and stuff. And it's like, "Oh."
I know why. It's because I didn't have
There
my
it
mic plugged in. That's why.
is.
Feel like that would help.
Now you're normal.
Perry's gonna start doing his morning prayers and then pack up to leave.
Okay.
Looking around, making sure everyone else is leaving.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. So for the better part of this journey, since we kind of talked offline about how things are gonna shift up a little bit, what I need to know from you guys is essentially a marching order of who's going to be taking charge, and it'll be a bit of a skill challenge per se for a big chunk of this journey. So I would like to know from you guys, what would you guys be doing along your trip to kind of aid and make sure that everything's going smoothly?
I imagine marching order would probably be me or Terry up front.
I was gonna say whoever has the highest perception, maybe as well.
So it doesn't have to be a
Well, that's
single
probably
file line. I mean, you guys can have it as like a, 2x2, 3x3. It's a wide enough road to travel. If you guys hit any kind of narrower paths, I'll let you know.
Ooh, we can be like those people in grocery stores who take up the entire aisle.
Absolutely.
Can Perry fall up the rear and just like help make it so we can't be tracked as easily? Since I only asked because of the.
So, tank boy up front and perception boy up front as well. Turn back with what?
It's so it makes it harder for me to be tracked, but could I also like?
I
don't know,
I so
expand on that.
I would say it like this: if you want to try to timber walk and kind of cover your tracks a little bit, that's perfectly fine to do. I would say you guys will move not terribly slower, just a little slightly slower, just to make sure that you guys are covering your tracks as best you go. It's it's kind of difficult being on horseback and covering tracks at the same time, but it can be done.
What
Yeah,
if
I
we tied
realized.
a branch with a bunch of leaves on it on his horse's tail?
Essentially. But
There's a
you can't go full speed
right.
on a horse, and then just expect to clear up your path as well. So you'll have to go just a little bit slower, but it shouldn't hinder you guys too badly. But shouldn't be a problem.
I get. Is that important to the group to not be followed?
I guess what's the concern of it?
My
Yeah, I don't
only
think it's
concern.
good enough for everything.
Was that
So-
Tizio who said something?
That was Eva. I could barely hear you. I'm sorry, Eva.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, you sound kind
everybody's
of
got
like
problems today.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. You sound kind of like Ellis did before he fixed his thing. Do I sound fine?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Yeah.
This better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think there was a Discord update and it defaulted everyone's output volume back to normal.
Ah,
That does sound familiar. It did last me to change my audio device the other day.
Yep. Sorry about that.
no, it's fine.
Better
Okay,
be.
so we got Calarian up front, Perry in the rear. Who else is going where?
Who's got the highest perception? Are we talking like perception skill or passive perception?
Eva's got 17 passive.
I don't.
That's pretty high.
I have 12.
What is Thalem's?
I don't know what this past perception you guys are talking
Yeah,
about, but
it's
I like to
intelligence.
pay attention to books, so I'm not very good at watching out for danger.
Oh, here it is.
That sounds like you.
Alright, I'll hang out near the front.
I can cover the rear as well.
Okay. So we'll put
But me
Eva
and
near the
Ava,
front, and then Ellis and Talum in the middle somewhere.
Sure.
2x3 formation.
2x3. Sure, that sounds easy enough to do. Okay.
Is the road we're on paved or is it just
It
like?
is. It's not paved, but you can see that it is well worn and traveled frequently. There, the dirt and soil around the main part of this road, the roadway itself is maybe about, I don't know, 15, 20 feet wide, and it's a light dusty brown coloration versus the lush greens and rocky mountain exteriors that you guys are currently around.
How's the weather work or look?
You take a look up. It's bright blue skies. The sun now coasting up, and everything appears to be clear. Seems to be a fairly good weather for maybe the next day or so ahead. You're not entirely sure.
No more rain and dragons.
Make a perception check.
Should we like leave a marking or something on the dragon before we leave? Leave like our calling card of who took this guy down.
Well, we don't even have a group name yet. Much less a calling card.
Well, yeah, we'll each write our name on there. It'd be like a trophy.
People look at this and be like, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
Oh, we need a group name? That's easy. Just call us the Sewers.
No.
The sewer rats.
Sewer Rats. Yeah, I like it.
I'm
Alright,
sure people would love to go to a tavern owned by a group named the Sewer Rats.
but that sounds like a cool jazz name. What's wrong with the Sewer Rats?
I think our newer friends are a little bit more upmarket. It might turn people off.
I mean,
Sewer? Dude, no, I got this. The Entrepreneurs.
What? That sounds like something with urination.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's my input. You guys can say all the rest of your suckier names later.
well, I mean, since we actually literally killed a dragon, I feel like we could work off that in some way. Or that seem a little too, what's the word, narcissistic because of me.
Cliche.
Also that.
Kill the dragon if we don't tell him. Also, weird to have dragon style killing name with the dragonborn around it.
So, as you guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves and readying your horses for the morning, you kind of set up some semblance of a marching order for yourselves and just kind of plan out the route you're going to be taking, as you guys do have a map. who would like to be doing what while you guys are traversing? No, it does not. But your backpack does.
Well,
All it says
be
is feed me
checking the
Seymour.
weather.
What do we have in the bag right now? Didn't we have something in there that we like shouldn't have put in there? Or am I dreaming?
I think you guys just had a lot of money in there.
Oh yeah. We got rid of that. We cashed that in,
Sure.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we got like 666 gold apiece.
The most dangerous thing we have is the Stone of Galore,
I can put it back there.
but it's fine. It's just a rock.
I don't think it needs to see light of day.
Okay. So, Perry's gonna check the weather. Okay. Awesome. Go ahead and just do a nature check for me.
There's a hurricane coming.
Well, I can like cast a spell that.
I know you can. This is
okay.
just part of that challenge I was saying. Just you kind of keeping track of what's going on, helping out the group. Anybody else doing anything? Or are you guys just kind of trucking along? You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You can just ride on horseback.
I try to bond with my new horse, Clarion's old horse.
Make a animal handling check. Seem to be getting along with it quite well. Seems to be rather used to exchanging hands.
I'm gonna with my I forgot what the hell it's called, but the right tool for the job. Is it the cartographer's tools that can aid Ava with her checks, I guess.
Are cartographer's tools part of the artisan's tool set?
Yep, I'm just looking at it right now.
Yeah, so then yeah, you can absolutely create a set of cartography tools to just kind of help, pinpoint different locations and markers along the road. You guys have a pretty detailed map for what you guys were given, as is outlined on the visible portion of your map. But you can certainly use that to kind of help maintain. Just go ahead and make a general intelligence check for me.
Myself or Eva?
Well, either you can both do it or one with advantage.
Definitely not Eva.
All right, I'll go ahead and do it with advantage.
Nice, yeah. Definitely helpful tools for your guys' journey. Okay. Is there anything else you guys are trying to do? Or shall we carry on? No? Perfect. Yes,
I
what's up?
think just as a minor note, Alice will take off his ring when they leave the city.
Interesting. Okay, got it.
Or at least now at this point, he's like, "Oh, I don't need this anymore." So he'll put it in his pocket or something.
Sure, and as you remove it and the spell fades, describe to everyone how you look now.
I look no different, except if you ever really paid attention to my eye color, it's no longer deep blue. It's like it's kind of like fake, or like fool's gold. It's like a very like black shiny gold combination color.
Would Ellis have done that in front of Eva before?
No.
Does it have any implications that we would know about?
Make a religion check.
I still did better than Claire, though.
I mean, you, Perry, have never seen anyone with a golded hue irises for eyes. It's quite astonishing. Um, it's not something you've ever recognized before. Eva, you're just kind of taken back and shocked at the whole idea of it. Like I've known Ellis for so long, I never knew.
Alice, your eyes are looking a little different today.
Oh yeah, I took the ring off. You know, I don't have to hide from people out here. At least I don't think so.
I never knew you were wearing a ring. Not that it changed your eyes. And
Yeah, that's all it does. Just to, well, dudes on the streets, you get in some trouble. I just, I guess my eyes were like one of those main features that the law, I guess, it defined me by the color of my eyes, and so that was the one thing I had to change to make sure I stayed under the radar. But, no laws out here. We riding dragons. So,
it's certainly nice to be outside of the city.
yep, feel I can see just like an inch further too. Really helps.
It's all the buildings not being in the way, I think.
Oh, you know what? It might be that. It's been a while since I've been outside the city.
So as you guys begin to trek along for your continuation of this journey, I would like either Kalarian or Eva to just roll me a d12. Okay, so we will roll Eva's. For the better part of the next few days, as you guys kind of press forward, the road seems fairly quiet. It's even though it's well traveled and it's seen a large number of use. Thankfully, nothing really catches your guys' attention, aside from a few nights where maybe it'll get a little bit chillier. You might pass a small family or two that might be heading southward, but you spend the next 4 days maybe just continuing pressing along towards the Sword Mountains, and now you are starting to get closer and closer to Yartar and to Tribor. You kind of, probably about early in the fourth day of your travels, you start kind of talking amongst yourselves and saying like, well, I thought by now this caravan would have at least passed by us. We were on intersecting paths, but no caravan, nothing. It's been fairly dead for the most part. You guys just keep pressing on?
Yeah.
And can we? Is this? I guess. Is this cause for alarm for us or no? This is more of a general question for the group.
I mean, we kind of expected them to get intercepted again, right?
Maybe we want to like look around quickly.
Yeah, could we like keep our eyes peeled for any signs of a struggle or anything?
Yeah, go ahead and make perception checks. So, as you guys are pressing on, you eventually come towards this vast wooded tree line to your left, and you can see now, just a few miles out ahead of you, maybe 10 or 20 or so, you can now clearly see the Sword Mountains and in their entirety. Uh, and you watch as the long road itself kind of winds between them. As you're traversing for these few days and you're looking for any signs of this caravan that is supposed to have been heading south towards Waterdeep, you don't see any signs of struggle. You're not seeing anyone that might have been in under any kind of attack or duress. It, it kind of puts you off a little bit because you're not entirely sure as to why the information you were given is not accurate. But you continue to press along. Somebody go ahead and roll me a. Well, are you guys keeping the same marching order after these few days?
Yeah, it's fine, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So either Eva and Kalarian, go ahead and roll me another d8. Okay. By about your fifth day in, continuing on this travel now, you can see now that you're in between the actual valley of the Sword Mountains themselves, and they extend well beyond your eyesight, and you're not entirely sure how high the highest peak goes. You eventually find yourselves coming across a rather narrow bridge as it expands across some sort of waterway that just kind of traverses between the valley underneath.
Like a well constructed bridge, or is it some
Yeah,
like
it's a
shoddy rope bridge?
no. It's a well constructed bridge made of um, just heavy reinforced wood and rope. It's maybe about I'd say about 10 feet wide or so, and it extends out maybe a good 50, 60 feet before reaching to the other side. Um,
So this would be what they would probably cross as a caravan with a bunch of heavy stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You
Okay.
gather. But you guys kind of cross over that open waterway, and you can see that the bridge itself actually plummets, or not the bridge, but the valley itself where this rushing water is underneath it plummets down a good maybe 100 or so feet. And so you're kind of grateful that this bridge is nice and sturdy and allowing you guys to traverse it without issue. You hit a couple other small towns along your way, but shortly after crossing over this bridge, you can see that there is what appears to be a human male, rather young, maybe in his early 30s. You're not entirely sure, but he just seems to be resting for the moment along a small patch of grass underneath a lone tree that stands over to the right side. And you guys are maybe about half a day's ride from Tribor itself. He just kind of looks up at the group of you and just waves.
I'll live back, I suppose.
Yeah, way back.
What's
Yeah.
he? What does it? What's he look like? I guess. Is he carrying
So,
any weapons or anything?
well, make a perception check as you guys are riding past. So, what you can see is this male has um, black hair that's kind of slicked back to his shoulders. He has a very like fine pointed goatee. He seems to be eating some kind of ration or small snack of bread or something, and he's just kind of sitting cross-legged. He's wearing a robe of it's almost all red. It's like a nice maroon red with silver trimmings, and you can see laying across his lap is what appears to be this long staff or something that's like gnarled at the top, but it appears to be crystalline, like it refracts sunlight as you guys kind of ride past.
He's basically a wizard.
You don't know?
You just described a wizard.
Sure, but you don't know. Yeah, but you're not entirely sure. He just seems to be minding his own business. He just kind of looks and shouts out a greeting to the group of you.
Does he have any form of transportation?
No, he appears to be on foot.
How old would you say he looks?
Early 30s.
Perry wants to ask him.
Sure.
Have you seen any other caravans come this way?
He kind of finishes chewing on the bread or dried ration that he was eating, swallows, and just kind of looks up to you as you kind of slow down to a stop in front of him. Why, no, I've been traveling this road for a few days now, and I haven't seen anyone. You're the first family or not family, first group I've met in the past 2 or 3 days. How fares the road south?
I imagine a little safer now. But
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. We're a little upset that the caravan didn't pass by you, but yeah, we'll hopefully find it on the way there further up.
Well, best of luck to hope you find what you're looking for. What's your name, young one?
Perry Ironhill. What about yours?
He stops and looks at you for a minute, and then he responds. He says, "My name is Irino Albrick. I work with the Swords Alliance out of Neverwinter. I was tasked to swing by Tribar for a few days, and I'm heading south towards well, supposed to be setting up shop in this little place called Phandalin. Ever heard of it?"
Out of character, yes.
No, I'm not quite familiar with this area.
Have I heard of it? In character?
Make a history check.
Oh, these always go great for me.
With that role, no, I would say you wouldn't know too much about it, but the gentleman kind of continues on and explains that the place has been abandoned for a number of years, and well, there's some mining groups that are starting to pick back up and head over there to rebuild the town as best as possible. And I was tasked to go on over and keep the peace as best as I could. Hopefully things won't become a problem.
Good luck.
Same to you. You guys kind of press on for the remainder of the day. Eventually you end up reaching Tribor, probably right as the sun goes down. And the city itself, while it's not extremely large, it's by no means a comparison to Waterdeep, but there's fresh food, there are fresh beds. It's a wonderful reprieve along this very lengthy journey. And you guys are able to stop and spend the night and just, restock on any supplies you need. If you wish to talk to any of the locals or things like that, it's totally your call. No?
Is there a tavern?
There are a couple. And it's easy enough to find. You actually see that let me pull it up. The tavern that you guys are actually, if you guys are going to be staying indoors for the night, probably appropriately named the Watering Hole. But
Why?
go ahead.
Why appropriately?
Well, because it seems to be a small reprieve along this road where there is not much to refresh one's spirits. But food and drink can be purchased rather cheap. It doesn't cost too much or anything like that. And is there anything you guys wanted to do along that while you guys were there, or keep on pushing on?
You say it was getting kind of late, or I guess what time is it if you didn't?
So this would probably be about night on the fifth day or so.
Probably want to stay the night.
Yeah, I imagined you would.
Is there any shops?
There are a handful of like general stores for basic purchases. You can see that a large majority of the populace here is human. You do see that there are a couple halflings, and maybe very sparsely an elf or two. A lot of this community seems to be agriculture in nature. They seem to be, farmers primarily, and while the city itself is kind of clustered in, you can see that they use the surrounding area for any kind of produce or things that they grow throughout the season. Um, but nothing in the way of anything exuberant or fancy.
I'd like to take some time to see if they have heard anything from a caravan or are having any problems in general with like maybe aggressive wildlife or anything.
Sure. Uh, just,
Try to find another dragon.
just make an investigation check for me. If you're just kind of asking around town. Okay. So taking some time to talk to the locals of the area, you do seem to fit in quite well with some of their conversation as you understand their lifestyle. Um, you do pick up on a bit of some conversations here and there between some of the older farmers who they kind of talk to you and say, "Yeah, we've heard about these caravans that have been getting hit south of here. Um, I think they're coming from Mirabar. I'm not entirely sure. We don't really pay them too much mind. They come in, they stock up when they need to, and then head on out the next morning. Um, but you, they don't mention seeing a caravan within this past 10 day. It's kind of hard to miss. The caravan itself is maybe 7 to 8 cartloads of equipment. Um, they don't know what's in them because the carts they tell you are not marked or anything. They seem to be escorted by a large number of humans and dwarves, and usually the past couple weeks prior to that, what was going on is they would be stopping in Tribor, stocking up, and then coming back rather quickly, maybe 4 or 5 days later, looking extremely angry. And then listening in on conversations, they're like hearing that they got ambushed, hearing that they lost all their merchandise, and how very pissed off the council would be to find out that they lost another shipment. As far as wildlife and things like that, everything's been thankfully peaceful in the area. There haven't been any reports of anything too crazy. Um, one individual, rather elderly woman who's just kind of sitting nearby listening to you talking between these people, she chimes in something about how she's been having nightmares lately, but other than that, nothing.
I'll go ahead and tell the group they haven't seen a shipment in the last 10 day, which is pretty strange based on the timeline that what's his face businessman gave us.
I like it. Change it as his name right now.
How funny would it be if the guy who hired us to do this is actually the one behind it?
Stealing from his own company?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but what would be the sense in having us go up here with no caravan to run into? Like, why would he even mention it at all?
I don't
Are
know.
we
Just a thought.
are we sure they may not just be intercepting north of here?
Maybe, but based on the timeline he gave us, he said they would be down there in a couple days. They move slower than us, I would assume, so I figured we would have run into them by now. Maybe they changed their location of attack and they disappeared farther up the trail.
Do we know? Were there any like names of anybody, or descriptions, or anything of the people who were part of the caravans?
You're asking Talon or me?
Um,
No, I mean, they mentioned a lot of dwarves and some humans, usually lots of unmarked wagons that just kind of head out, and then usually they come back all angry without their wagons. So,
if
but
they're unmarked, I mean, are other caravans getting robbed, or is it just these ones?
I think he said it was just his. That
Yeah.
everything else is getting through fine.
it's very strange.
And if it's unmarked, how do they know?
Well, I mean, it's still a big group of dwarves, I think.
I mean, I guess these are questions to ask once we get there, but they're questions to be brought up anyways.
Definitely.
It seems like they have someone telling them when the shipments are coming. But I don't see what we could do except for keep heading north and keep
What if
asking
they just mark
questions.
it as radioactive waste? Who's going to want to steal that? I suppose that doesn't exist in D&D universe, though.
Does anybody have the ability to maybe like send a message back to grumpy businessman dude and like ask him what's up?
Grumpy businessman, dude. So was he grumpy?
Not
I don't know. It's just funny.
It is. I'll allow it.
Okay.
I can, but not today. I'd have to do it tomorrow.
Well, with the journey being kind of traversive, you guys are talking about these things. Spells are kind of flexible. It's not a big deal.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, if you were to have it available, you could have. Talon could have mentioned it sometime riding in.
Suppose I should change out of Find Steed.
Yeah.
Then I will use a third level spell slot to cast Sending, and then. But I mean, first, like, we just want to ask him where the caravan is.
Maybe, yeah, like say the people in Tribor haven't seen the caravan and we haven't passed them yet. Do you know anything about that? Or I don't know, something like that.
Let's see. All right, so Sending, post it. So I'll just ask him. Do you know the whereabouts of the caravan? We haven't seen it yet.
We're in Tribor, by the way.
Yeah, it's unlimited range.
Yeah. No. He was saying tell him the location. Is what he's saying.
Oh, we're in Tribor. Yeah, we'll add that in there. I got 25 words to work with.
Yes, you do. There's a bit of a pause before Garrett responds. So you say you're in Tribor and you haven't seen the caravan yet? Most peculiar. Where will you go from there? And that's all.
He said it's interesting, and he wants to know where we're going from here.
I mean, if you have the ability to, maybe tell him we're heading to Mirabar and try to get some details of who we should talk to, but I don't know if you can do that.
I can expend another spell slot, but I can only do it one more time. That's it.
Until tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Forever.
It's like Wish. You lose the ability to do
Hardcore
so.
D&D, that's what it is. Okay, so you cast sending again. What do you say?
We're we're heading to Mirabar, um, and then we'll ask about it. We'll ask about the caravan there.
Okay. Response comes a little quicker this time, and Garrett Gravas responds, "Well, good. I would have recommended that myself. Go speak with Halliver Brewhood. He's the one I've been in contract with. Maybe he can tell you what's been going on."
However,
I'll spell it in chat.
you don't have a handout for that one.
You haven't met him yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's true, I suppose.
Hallair Brewwood, excuse me.
He told us to talk to Helena Brewhead. Brewhead.
Well, at least we have a target now, somewhere to talk to, an idea of where to go. Maybe the caravan's just running behind and we'll run into them in a little bit north. Who knows?
There's not much we can do except continue. So
I mean, we could also not continue and we could make our way backwards to see if we missed anything.
If they haven't seen any caravans here, my vote is to keep going towards Mirabar, but I think we should stop at every town on the way and ask. That way at least we can get some idea of where it disappeared.
I'd agree with that.
Good plan.
All right. Perfect. Okay, so a wonderful night's rest is had, which has been a bit of a reprieve for you guys, being able to get off of smaller encampments through borders of tree lines and near mountain ridges and small caves and things like that. So it's quite refreshing to be able to sleep in a nice warm bed for an evening. But you guys are able to wake up the following morning, gather up your belongings, get your horses prepped and ready to go. Are you guys keeping the same marching order?
Formation.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfectly good. Okay. So for this part of the journey, are you guys changing up any of the things you're trying to do as far as helping out with the journey itself? Are you guys looking for anything in particular? Or are you just kind of just making a beeline to the next city?
I mean, we probably still want to pay attention to the surroundings and see if we can't pick anything up.
Okay.
Yeah, look for the.
Because I mean, if they haven't seen a cart in a 10-day, then most likely it's going to be between Tribor and Mirabar that we're going to most likely pick something up for the most recent caravan.
Okay.
So, are we going to be going through Longsaddle?
Yeah, you gather.
Well, this is out of character, I'm asking.
Yeah.
Because the Harples live there, and they're fucking weird people.
DM, while we were there at the in tavern and whatnot, I would have spoken to like people there and like kind of tell them about how like we took out this dragon and whatnot down there.
Make a persuasion check.
We're still working on a team name. So far, Sewer Rats is up there, but yeah, we took it out. So tell your friends.
You mentioned
Right.
Snorats.
It's a name in progress.
So
You're gonna make it stick.
The sewer rats, huh? A rat fighting a dragon.
No.
That's something to see. And then there's
It's a work in progress. Work in progress, sir.
I hate everything about what's happening right this second.
Well, I mean, there's some banter and conversation as you guys are kind of spending the night having drinks, and you actually end up piquing the interest of a younger lady, a human female, just like an auburn hair color, and she just you get the sense that maybe she doesn't get to venture out past her town too often, so getting to hear stories and things from other people, whether true or not, she almost doesn't care. But she seems to be enthralled and raptured, and she's asking you questions, asking you things like, "Where are you from?" and just generally piqued in her interest.
But yeah, I will go along with that. And obviously, I will lie here and there or exaggerate answers.
Yeah, definitely, and you would. um, she for the remainder of the night, so long as you choose, she's happy to be engaged with you talking, and then you realize here and there she actually gets yelled at because she's supposed to be working, but then she tries to rush off to do whatever she's doing and then come back to listen to more stories and tales from you guys, and she's like, man, like, how long have the sewer rats been working together?
Oh.
Well, it's a name to be determined, but we've been together for what, a couple months.
Well, that's pretty cool. It says you guys saved Waterdeep. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's not an easy thing to do, but we managed to do it.
Yeah, it's a shame that Tizio got that horrible rash in the process.
Make a persuasion check. Or make a deception
Whoa.
check, not persuasion. Make a deception check.
Hard look at it.
16.
Wait, one
Hard look
sec,
at
one
Eva.
sec, one sec. Yeah, that's a 20.
Is it? Oh, because you're not proficient. Or are you?
No, silver tongue means anything below a 10 gets a 10. Great, and then she's got a plus. Oh, she got a plus 7, sorry, 17.
Okay, so 17. She, she's like, that sewer rats makes more sense now.
Uh,
Anyway, so at that point, conversation kind of abruptly stops.
I was gonna suggest the rash adventurers.
What if we just go with TSR for right now?
well, people are gonna ask what TSR stands for,
It,
and then
to be
we're in the
determined.
same mess.
So a long night's rest is had. You guys joke amongst yourselves, enjoy drinks, enjoy the surroundings. It's nice to be out of the extremely busy city life where there are constantly people of all different walks of life just kind of passing you by without even really paying attention to you. And to be able to go to a place that is warm and welcoming, and the people are just so generally friendly. Like they're not they're not by any means trying to just ignore you, brush you off. They're not trying to, like, get any kind of like money out of you for services or anything like that. They're just happy to have guests coming by and sharing news of the coast, and it's a big change of pace. Possibly boring for some, but refreshing for others. um, I would like Kalarian to make a perception check, and then if Eva is tailing beside him, go ahead and roll me a d8. Okay. Okay.
I am googling adventure names right now. By the way, adventure group of names.
So you're all bid a farewell as you kind of embark on the continuation of your journey to the next stop of Long Saddle. The days now seem to be getting a little bit more darkened skies today, as a rain front seems to be coming. Nothing brutal, nothing terrible, but it does slow you down just a little bit, and it's a bit of an annoyance, but never nevertheless, you kind of push through. You spend probably the better part of this day. Let me check my chart. Because if I recall, you spend probably the better part of the next 2 days just pushing forward. A little rain's getting in the way and just being rather annoying, but you don't see anything that catches your eye immediately, Calarian. The the mountain ranges to the left just appear to be rather quiet and still. You do see some wildlife along the routes. Um, you can hear off into the distance maybe the sounds of some kind of avian creature just flying somewhere out along the mountain range to your right. The road continues on. Eventually, you make it on your second day as sun slowly begins to set, and you arrive at Long Saddle, a rather smaller hamlet than Tribor. A lot of this area doesn't seem to be like agriculture wise or anything. You can see that there are multiple different homes just scattered throughout this small, very tiny village. But there are rooms available. There's refreshing heat to warm your bones, especially after riding for 2 days in the rain. Is there anything you guys want to do here?
I want to play some music.
Sure.
We're gonna go to an inn. I'm gonna play a song that she's been working on the road about how Ellis rode a dragon.
Nice. Go ahead and make a performance check. Very nice.
While she's playing that song, I'll go ahead and cast Fly on her so she can zip around the room like a dragon.
Very cool. So we'll take the advantage on that. That's awesome. Oh, well, the 20 was the advantage. So awesome stuff. Yeah, it's extremely enthralling. Even though this place doesn't seem to have as many people, like I said, as Tribor does, it's still another welcoming spot, and there are cheers and great applause to your performance as they listen to this strange tale of a man who wished to ride a dragon and did so the same day.
Thank you, everyone. We are Ava and 5 other guys. Thank you.
I would almost rather our group name be that instead of Sewer Rats.
Is it like 5 other guys featuring Ava?
I'll take Ava and the Sewer Rats.
No. I feel this needs to be a unanimous decision.
That's such a good band name.
That yeah, make
Sure, make it your band
make a
name.
persuasion check, Eva.
Wait, for what?
For the name you're telling these
Oh, for the people, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, why would they need persuasion
It's-
check? They've
it's
never
20.
seen them before.
It's huh?
I don't understand why the persuasion check would be necessary.
Would it be another deception?
They've literally never seen us before, so how would they
It-
know
it's-
any other way?
Well, it's about getting the name to stick. So, okay. There are questions asked of you, Eva. There are people who rush up to you. You can see that there's one younger halfling-looking individual who kind of like, you know, rushes over as best he can. He has to kind of like squeeze through the crowd to kind of get up to the front after you're done performing. You gather that he seems to be a self-taught bard, and he starts talking to you about like, oh, where did you train, like how did you learn these songs, like this is amazing, and just trying to get a general sense of, you know, you gather he seems to be admiring you quite a bit.
I will allow him to buy me a drink.
Um, he
He did
also
not.
he also would love to buy you a drink as well if he had the coin. And he kind of gets sheepish on it a little bit. He's like, "Well, I normally perform here to try to make some coin, but there's no way I can outdo you. That was such a good performance."
Well, that sucks. I'll buy him a drink.
He greatly appreciates it, and you guys kind of have a bit of conversation. You gather he's lived in Long Saddle most of his life, and he's just kind of he's been debating on whether or not he wants to head out and just venture the world and try to do what you do and have these experiences in your travels and be able to just on the fly make up something miraculous about it.
What you really need is a really interesting group of people. Alice! Alice! She'll wave Alice over.
Oh
Hey,
god.
what's up?
This guy wants to write a song, but he doesn't have anything to write about. Do you have any ideas?
Um, yes, I sure do. Think back to a time when you were really, really dissatisfied with what you were eating, and then imagine how good it would be with mayonnaise. No, honey. Yogurt? Imagine how good it would be with honey yogurt. And write a song about that.
Honey yogurt. Make a persuasion check.
I've heard of honey yogurt before.
Oddly enough, he he seems enthralled, right? So he's been talking with Eva. He's getting like super hyped up. He's asking you like, where did you go to study and things like that. He's thinking about like maybe he should travel down the water deep and try to hit up New Ulm and talk with them. And you, Eva, are probably just like, maybe not. I don't know. But then you kind of chime in, Ellis, and tell him about honey yogurt, and he's just nodding along. He's like, yeah, yeah, I think I could do something like that. I know what you're saying. And he kind of like rushes off at that point.
We're gonna run into this guy at level 20, and he's gonna be like the most famous bard on the planet because of honey yogurt.
Hey man, if I know anything about poetry, it's that things are like other things. That's all you need to know.
Mm. Drunk people also really like songs about food.
That is true. I can attest to that fact.
The next Johnny Cash, I like it. So while you guys are here, just kind of enjoying the short intermission along your journey, is there anything you're trying to accomplish while you're here, aside from?
We should ask if anyone's seen a caravan come through.
Okay. Just make an investigation check.
Can I assist?
You sure can. Very nice. Do you want to roll, Eva?
No, it's literally impossible for me to roll that high or anywhere close to it.
Okay. Well, sure.
Yeah, nat 20.
It would still only be a 22.
I'll take the
Yeah,
advantage.
but
It's fine.
nat 20 is, I would still beat it.
So Talum, using the momentum of being, the sewer rats in Eva,
Ugh.
you start asking some questions of the local populace and those who are just kind of listening in now that Eva's kind of done, started talking to this young gentleman. You start asking about, hey, what's going on with Mirabar? Like, what's going on with this caravan? Have you seen anything? And rather quickly, within like an hour or so of conversing with a few individuals, almost repetitive as to what Tribor said. It's strange. Um, these individuals say that, yeah, there's been some caravans here that have that have been, frequenting maybe every 2 10 day or so from Mirabar, uh, they tend to sometimes get a little heavy in drink, and then they push out the following morning. They rant and boast about how their mining is the best anyone's ever seen. Um,
On Mr. Hawk.
and then they talk about how they're just trying to get rid of this shipment down to Waterdeep so they can go back to where they truly feel at home. Because being on horseback is not what their preference is. Um, Further into conversation, you gather that a caravan didn't pass by this past 10 day. And that kind of puts it a little out of place because there was no caravan the previous 10 day. So they were expecting this caravan because it has become a bit of a source of revenue for Longsaddle, even though it's a small hamlet and there are ways for them to acquire wealth. With them being so close to the mountain ranges, agriculture isn't really their main source. Greeting people as they come in, restocking their supplies, that is their main source of revenue. And to miss out on a large caravan of horses, people, drinks, it's a big hit on them. And so they definitely are aware of it. But they don't know why the caravan didn't come through. But you do catch that they did mention on their way returning, and this was maybe a month or so back. They start talking about the first time the caravan was hit. And one of these individuals starts explaining to you they were extremely angry, this caravan, as they were returning. And they were complaining about how that they were going to have a rather large loss of profit. More conversation was had, and yeah, with that role, you would have been able to converse with them enough to figure out that they were talking about how, Luskin's bad, but they've never seen anything like this. But that's about it.
Could I ask them to explain a little bit what they mean?
Sure, yeah. So this caravan of dwarves, you do learn that the escort that protects the caravan, they're called the Axe of Mirabar. They are basically the army of Mirabar, which are solely made of dwarves. Um, there are humans that are in the caravans that are either riding horses or helping with the transport and supplies and general things that caravans need. But in conversations with this caravan, the people of Long Settle end up learning over time that there's a bit of tension between Mirabar and Luskin, and there has possibly been times in the past where Luskin has tried to subvert Mirabar. Tension still exists, but things have kind of came to a stalemate at some point, and you gather that because dwarves lived for so long, they just kind of they don't hold grudges, but they remember the past. And to have traveled along this path to avoid going the route of Luskin to deliver these goods, they thought it was safe. And for it to no longer be safe is a big problem.
Cool. Very interesting. So by that, I surmise Luskin is a city, a town.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, I see it on the map. Sorry.
Yes,
I
top
missed
top
that.
left corner. You would also recall that you saw a painting of it.
Ah, yes. Okay.
is there anything else you guys wish to do?
I don't think so for me.
Okay. All right. So here on this 6th or 7th day of the journey, you guys kind of get another wonderful night's rest. Perry kind of takes some time to just meditate and talk with Morden, try to get a sense of the weather to come. Seems to be fairly clear sailing for the next few days, which is grateful because it is going to be a rather long trek through some open grasslands, right along the edge of a forest line, which some of the people kind of mentioned to you as the Lurkwood, and then passing through a rather narrow pass of mountain range that has been kind of carved through to create the long road before hitting the city of Mirabar. But you all rest for this evening, and you're able to press on for the next day. What we'll do here is we will take a break, and then when we come back, we will wrap up this last leg of it and then reach Mirabar. Sound good?
Cool.
Sounds good.
Right on.
Awesome. I hope you guys, I don't know, are you guys liking this travel setup a little better?
I've been fine with it since
Yeah.
the other one. I didn't have any issues.
No issues here.
Cool, cool. All right. So we'll take a quick 5-6 minute break and then we'll be right back.
Cool.
Okay. So, keeping the same formation, the group of you are now pushing on to that last trudge of the day with the weather being fairly in your favor, thankfully. I would like either Eva or Kalarian to roll me a d8, or a d12, excuse me. Okay. Okay. So, is there anything you guys are specifically doing on this last leg of the travel?
Nope.
Just kind of going by the seat of your horse. Got it. Okay. So, as you kind of push on for the next leg of this journey, the first 2 days, the only thing that really catches your eye, aside from the large open field of grass to your west, and then you can see out into the distance that there's this thick, heavy, lush forest that is, kind of peering out in front of you. And on that second night, as you guys are kind of resting in between both ends of the spectrum here, you can see the mountain range to the north, and you can see you try to find a decent place to rest for the evening. Maybe towards the middle of the night or so, you do hear, and it kind of wakes, I would say Eva up because she has the highest passive, what sounds like some kind of chime or song, something coming from the distance. It sounds really faint, but you manage to pick it up. Eva?
Sorry. I was distracting with this macro thing. I missed what you said. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. So as you guys kind of rest for the second night of this last leg of it before you guys cross through the mountain range before hitting Mirabar, it's with it being late into the evening, you guys are kind of doing your watches. You wake up to the very, very faint sound of maybe some kind of chiming sound or something that sounds almost like a melody or something.
Is
Very far
anyone
into the distance.
is anyone up on watch?
I'm sure someone is. However, you guys want to determine that.
I'll be on watch.
Donald was on watch. I awakened. Don, do you hear that?
Now that you pointed out, I kind of hear it. Yeah. What do you think it is?
I don't know. That's like chimes or music, but are we even near a town?
I don't think so. I mean, you could look at the map real quick.
Yeah,
Can I tell if it's coming from the mountains or from the forest direction?
make a perception check. Uh, to the best you can tell, with it being, it's eerily silent here in this passageway. You guys are maybe a good, you know, half a mile or so off the main road, just trying to stay near the tree line for cover, and it seems like that's where it's coming from. Within the wood line, deep, deep inside. And you kind of stare out into the darkness. You see movement here and there. A bat flies overhead.
Does it look like a normal bat?
Yeah.
Or some sort of spiritual bat?
We'll make a perception check. Kind of hard to tell at the distance. Eva kind of pointed it out, but as you kind of try to train eyes on it in the darkness, just seems like a normal bat. You watch as it kind of catches onto the wind and soars off over the head of the forest itself, just kind of veers out of sight.
Should we wake the others, or?
I don't know. It doesn't seem threatening. It's just weird. Is it getting any closer?
To the best you can tell, no. It's very, very faint, like a low, as the wind is brushing along the trees and just pushing things along the warm evening air. You just hear cha-ching, cha-ching. It's very faint.
Weird as that is, I'm not going in there in the middle of the night to investigate.
You don't want to wake the party and go check it out? I'm pretty curious.
Okay. Fine. Maybe we'll go over and wake Ellis. Ellis, wake up! There's weird chimes in the wood. And Dallin wants to go in there in the middle of the night to see what they are.
What? What's going on?
We're gonna go find some wind chimes in the middle of the woods.
Am I awake at this point?
I'll wait till Larry up next.
You are now.
What? Aren't we safe? Aren't we in a? We're sleeping in a dome, aren't we?
Yeah, but aren't you curious by the mysterious ringing in the woods?
No.
I mean, not necessarily. But sure, you know, if you want to check it out.
I'll go back to bed. I'll finish my watch and be sad. It's fine.
I mean, if it'll make you happy, I rode a dragon the other day, so If we need to pursue a dream of yours, if it's your dream to seek some jingling things in the woods, I gotta help you out, man.
It's fine, Alice. Just go back to bed.
All right. Whatever you say.
Okay. So a little bit of confusion, a little bit of curiosity, but you guys managed to push it out of your minds, and you awake the next morning to thankfully another bright, clear blue sky, and you press forward for the remainder of your journey. Now, about midday or so, you can barely just start seeing it out onto the horizon. These, what appear to be these large stone walls, slightly angled out towards you. And you unfortunately can't see anything behind it as you guys are kind of crossing through this deep cut through portion of the mountain range. But you know that as you guys are making your way that forward, that appears to be Mirabar. Eventually, you hit the southern gate of this large metropolis. It is extremely bustling with sound as you guys approach, and you can see that there appear to be several dwarven guards standing sentry. And as you approach up towards the gate, you can see them raise a hand and hail. Right? State your business.
We're here to talk with Haller Brewhood.
For what reason?
Garrett sent us to talk to him about the missing caravans.
We've come from Waterdeep.
We've traveled a long way.
And you can see that they're not standing ground level, they're standing on top of what appears to be this large stone wall that surrounds the entirety of this area. So you can't really see beyond it yet, but there's a brief conversation, and then they kind of look back over to you and he says, "Right, well, you're welcome to enter, but no funny business." And you watch
I
as
wouldn't dare make a joke.
you watch as the large wooden gate begins to slowly creak open, and within the interior you actually see dozens of people and horses and cluttered homes all stationed right next to each other into this large metropolis. I will share this map with you guys. It's a bit of an older map, but just so you guys can kind of get a sense of it. Tizio will be juggling. Okay, make a performance check if you like. So as you can see here, there are dozens of city streets. You can see that there's a central, kind of like an central market area right in the center of the south gate. You can see that there are a large number of humans, a few halflings, a few gnomes, and as you kind of traverse and slowly walk through the streets, you do get a number of stairs, and you can see, or you can hear out into the distance what sounds like a large body of water that's just kind of rushing through. What you also notice is that there are dwarves here, and they appear to be in some kind of either full plate or half plate. Each of them are carrying this axe, and they're adorned with this like red and black looking attire, like that their color scheme. And you can see that as people kind of walk past them, they kind of give them a bit of a berth, but they appear to be some sort of guard or sort. similar to the ones that open the gate for you. Ignore the legend at the bottom of the map.
Are they just like local guards, or are they specifically something?
They appear to be. I haven't been up here before. Make a history check. um, you're not sure, but you see a lot of them. They are scattered throughout the city streets as you guys are kind of just navigating your way through. They feel reminiscent of the City Watch back in Waterdeep, but you're not sure.
Do we seem to be attracting anyone that's following us for a persistent amount of time, or just people glance over like, oh, they're not dwarves?
Make a perception check. So as the south gate closes behind you, and you're just slowly trotting along through the city into the interior, you do notice that there are two of these dwarves in their red and black attire that are following behind you, maybe about 80 or so feet, just keeping an eye on you.
What time is it? Is it like late or early?
I would say it's early afternoon at this point. By the time you guys had gotten here to the city, you can see that there are large plumes of smoke from various different chimneys throughout the city. There are vendors shouting out different wares and produce to purchase. You can see that there is a lot of hustle and bustle of, as I said, a large number of humans that are here within the city, and it almost seems to be the majority. It's not what you thought at first. It's weird.
Is there somebody that we can like ask for directions to that one guy whose name I said?
Sure.
Haller.
Make an investigation check. Okay. Yeah. So you kind of stop near one of the local markets and you kind of just grab someone's attention. Within short order, you eventually find out that where did I put my note? Give me 1 second. Yeah, you find out that Hilaire Brewwood actually works in the Undercity. Most of the larger mining companies here within Mirabar are not above ground. There's actually a entrance, which would be that larger triangle-looking area with the red circles, that leads to the Undercity, and then it crosses further down, and that is where the majority of the major mining companies work out of. And they said, well, if you're looking for any of them, that's probably your best place to look. But they don't just let anyone in there.
I see. Well, thanks for the help.
So, what do you guys want to do?
Are those people still tailing us?
They seem to be, yes.
Could I like saunter my horse back there and maybe grab Ava's attention? She's pretty convincing. And tell her kind of that we need to get to the Undercity, but apparently it's pretty well protected. Maybe we can convince the guards to take us down there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So you kind of stop and turn your horse back around, and you do notice that there are horse-drawn carriages, and a lot of the people in the area are kind of on foot. And you guys are kind of traversing through the city a bit on your horseback, so it stands out a little bit. And you kind of stop and you turn to look at these two axes of Mirabar, and they look at you a little bit funny at first, but then they kind of go, right, right. What's your business? What are you trying to do?
Sorry, I'm scrolling up to find the guy's name. What's the guy's name?
It's Haller Brewhood.
We're looking for Haller Brewhood. You come from Waterdeep, looking into some missing caravans. We hear he's this way, on the other side, in the Undercity.
Aye, that's where his company is. You got any paperwork? We can't just let you down there without no paperwork.
I don't have any paperwork, but I have a badge for Waterdeep. Is there any chance that might help? She'll take out the badge. Show.
Yeah. One of the guards kind of chuckles a little bit and he goes, they think they have some leeway here in the city just because they're from Waterdeep. Shows them that they don't know much about us here.
We're just trying to be friendly. We're trying to help with something that's related to Mr. Brewitt's company. Shipping things down south and they aren't arriving. It's never going to get paid if we can't help him sort it out.
Well, be that as it may, without any sort of formal introduction from Waterdeep or wherever you reside, we can't just let any old person with a story walk on down to our most precious areas. I'm sure you understand.
Could you invite Mr. Brewhood up to see us?
Make a persuasion check.
With Ava's help?
Ava, what would you do to help in that request?
I mean, we're kind of talking to them together, so I don't know if she's going to chime in.
Sure. Go ahead and roll with advantage. So, I mean, the two axes of Mirabar, they just kind of look at you and they give you a gruff grin. And they say, well, I'm sorry, lad. I don't know who sent you all the way out here on a wild goose chase, but we're no escorts, and we're certainly no lackeys for any of those people down in the Undercity. If you need to blame anyone, blame the ones who sent you. They should have had the forethought to let them know in advance you were coming. But by all means, head on over to the entrance. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, thanks for your time.
Is there someone? It seems very silly to send us all the way back to Waterdeep for paperwork. Is there someone on this side of the city we could talk to?
asking? Who you're asking that to?
The guards.
So the gruffer one kind of looks over to you and says, "Well, like he said, go talk to them at the entrance to the Undercity. If they're expecting you, you should have no problem."
Yeah, well, it's worth a shot, I suppose.
Okay. So what are you guys trying to do?
You don't have any other ideas?
Perry, do you have any contacts? Your god is related to the dwarves, I think. Anyone you could talk to? Maybe they could get us in contact with the right people.
Oh, did Perry die?
Oh, sorry guys, I was doing work. What's up? I completely missed it.
I know your god is somewhat related to the dwarves. Do you have any contacts that maybe know of a temple around that we could get in contact with? And maybe they can help us.
Well, if we want to look for a Mirabar temple,
I feel like we really just need someone who's a local who can take a message into them. It seems very strange that these people would have based places of business somewhere that they're not willing to come out or have anyone come in to talk to them.
Can we can Perry key message Garrett? See who we should contact to speak to this individual?
so you want me to ask Garrett for another contact to speak to the first contact? Is that what I'm supposed to be asking him?
Yeah, kinda.
Maybe let him know that we're having difficulties getting to the Undercity, and
Yeah,
if he has any advice.
is there a secret password we should say?
Mayonnaise.
Yeah, alright. I'll cast sending again.
Okay, what do you say?
I will ask him. We're having trouble finding. Well, let me reword that. We're having trouble getting to the. Where's his name at?
Undercity.
To the Undercity. Is there. To talk to your contact. Can you help us?
There's a long pause before you hear the voice in your mind of Garrett responding back, and he says, "Right, no, so I take it you're in Mirabar. That's wonderful. The shipment arrived, but if you're trying to see the Brewhood Company, just go talk to them in the Undercity. I'm sure they'll let you," and then it kind of cuts off.
Did he just say it arrived?
I'm assuming we missed it somewhere.
How the fuck would we miss it?
Maybe they took.
Maybe they took a different route.
Oh,
I'm taking the sea road, but it's much longer. You would have thought he would have told us.
Maybe the guy's lying and he's part of the problem.
Are you able to tell like the tone with your sending spell? Like, is it just words that come through?
That's probably up to the DM there.
You would hear it as if they were speaking to you.
also, did he tell us to go talk to the guy that we're trying to get to, despite us telling him that we can't get down there?
Yes, he did.
He said just go into the Undercity, so maybe there's another way. Is this the only way?
if we could just talk to the folks at the entrance. He seems to think they'll let us in. Maybe they will.
It's worth a shot.
Worst case, they tell us no.
Okay, so you guys kind of just generally ask for directions on how to get down towards the Undercity. There's a couple of looks, as in like, are you guys new here? And but you are eventually pointed in the right direction towards this um, large. It literally almost looks like a mine in itself. It has it comes out to a wide brim, but then you can see that the top half of it, or the top roofing of it, is like almost completely flat, and then you can see that it goes down at a decent incline down into the darkness below. You can see that there is about what appears to be like 4 guards that are standing watch towards the entrance of this ramp. And as you kind of approach up towards them, they kind of put a hand up to stop, and they say, excuse me, are you lost? You can't just come down here."
I'd say we're lost and confused. We've come from Waterdeep to do some business with Mr. Hallard Brewhood. We need to see him. There's a caravan that he's sending down there that keeps going missing. We'd like to have him sorted out. We just need to understand which route the caravan's taking, when it's leaving, so that we can help. But we don't seem to be able to look in. Is he in here?
There's some conversation between two of them, and then they kind of look back to the group of you, and they say, right, we've been expecting you. A little bit later than what we thought, but word was sent that you guys might be stopping by here. Here, right this way, but leave the horses.
Just leave them here?
He kind of like just points over towards the side, towards one of the guards, and you can see that like, the, not a guard, but rather a lithe-looking human, um, male, rather skinny, just kind of a little bit of what, I don't know, maybe like coal or something, dirt on his face. You're not entirely sure, but he kind of looks over to the group and he goes, I'll take care of those for you, not to worry.
Oh, thank you.
Great, and you guys kind of, you know, dismount, and you watch as this young gentleman just starts kind of like tying up your guys' horses off to the side, not right in front of the entrance, but there appears to be some kind of way of securing them, not too far from the entrance to the Undercity. But eventually, you guys kind of regather into the front of the Undercity, and you are led down by two of the acts of Mirabar. It is dark as you guys slowly descend further and further into this tunnel system, and this tunnel is extremely wide. We're talking maybe 60 feet across, maybe about 10 to 12 feet high, and it just goes down further and further into this deep, dark passageway. And as the last remnants of light begin to leave you behind, and it's no longer casting into the tunnelway, you can see that there are these, what appear to be like these red lit sconces that are just kind of scattered on the sides of the walls that lead further and further down. Eventually the tunnel system starts to wind and twist, and one of the guards kind of looks back to you and he goes, most of the prominent businesses are here in the Undercity. This is where all the mining is taken care of. I take it this is your first time here.
It is, yes. We weren't sure we were expected. We had a bit of a run-in with some of the guards.
Right, well, most people generally have an idea of where they're going when they come into the city. It's surprising for a new group of people to not be aware of our basic layouts of the city, but for all the better, I suppose. It's as much of a well-kept secret as possible. but then it, some basic conversation continues on as you guys are led further and further in, and then eventually maybe a good you guys walk for like a mile or so underground before the cavern itself just begins to open wide, and you can see underneath it. You can see underneath now that there is an even larger looking city underneath the surface level itself. You can hear the sounds of um, hammers on anvils being hit. You can hear the sound of what seems to be like maybe some kind of pickaxe hitting walls and just kind of echoing off parts of the chamber. Music and smells of fresh food hit your guys' nostrils as what you would think would be like some kind of stagnant air, but there's a slight breeze that kind of permeates and pushes its way back up through the tunnel that you guys had just descended down. And you can see that there is a thriving cityscape underneath here. Marvelous stone structures made of all different types, marble, stone, all well constructed and just lined in almost along the edges of the underground itself. Eventually, you guys are led even further down, and you start to get the sense that the city itself almost kind of winds and twists, almost as if it's slowly spiraling down in a slow, steady decline. And you are brought over to a more prominent business-looking district. You can see now there are semblances of wood along with the stone structures. You can see that the populace down here is much heavier dwarf than human, like it was up above. Eventually, you are led within one of these business places. A marvelous looking stone structure, maybe about 3 stories tall or so. You can see that there are various different guards posted throughout. And as you're kind of led inside, that there's a lot of looks at the group of you. But eventually, you make your way into the interior, and that's kind of where these two dwarven escorts kind of stop and they go, right, so this is as far as we go. This is the Brewhood Company headquarters. If you have any questions for them or whatever your business is, do it here.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Like you see them standing there, just kind of staring at you.
I'll knock at the door, or does it looks like I'm meant to just head on in?
Oh, I mean, like yeah. So the the large oak wooden doors that are there, I mean that you can just kind of like push them in. You can see that they're like 2 sentries or something, not in similar attire to what the axe hands are wearing, or not what the axes of Mirabar are wearing. They these appear to be like some kind of like personal guard or something, but they they don't make any fuss about you guys kind of walking up towards the stairs. You kind of push on the wooden door, and you can see that with your passive as you start proceeding inward, the two guys that had escorted you down, one of them starts grumbling something to the other, and then they just kind of walk off in a huff. But you can make your way into the central chamber there, and artistically, the interior of the building looks extremely simple. The the stone flooring and walls just seem to be very sleek, and you can see that there are various bits of different metals and weaponry that seems to be lining the sides of the walls. Excuse me. You can see that there is plush furnishings all throughout the building, and then you can see that there's a staircase that leads upward to an upper level. You're met at that staircase by a rather stout individual who just seems to be nodding and smiling as you guys approach, and he goes, Ah, yes. You seem to be the ones coming from Waterdeep, I assume.
Yeah.
Ah, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Please, right this way. And once more, you're kind of led back up to the second level, where you were eventually brought into an office-like suite. And you can see at the opposite end of the desk a more prominent looking individual who's just sitting there, currently in the process of what appears to be like writing out some sort of very long letter or something like that. And you can see that there appears to be an attendant human to his side. And he kind of finishes up what he's doing and hands it off to the attendant, who immediately starts walking out. Um, Hello. These are the individuals from Waterdeep. I believe Garrett said that they would be arriving. Yes, yes. Please, come in. So, I take it Garrett didn't tell you that we finally got a shipment through.
No, and on the road north, we asked at every village. No one seemed to have seen a caravan in a 10-day. Did you divert it along a different road?
Ah, you're a sharp one. Yes, it's a bit of a hassle and we're gonna have to start charging them more for it, but we decided to take a longer route and unfortunately have to work our way around Luskin. And he watches, he kind of like spits on the ground and then head down towards Neverwinter along the high road. It's a pain in my arse if I do say so. The long road's a lot simpler to travel.
Best for everyone then. Cheaper too if we could just manage to clear up the issue.
And I take it that's why you're here. So are you here to tell me that you figured out what the problem was and that we can resume our original course?
We haven't yet. We haven't seen anything on the road. We were hoping you might know something about what happened since we haven't been able to talk to anyone on one of the caravans, but we heard that they were coming back to you.
I the caravans themselves, they're not hurt, but all of our stuff has been stolen repeatedly. And it's quite pissing in my boots. Somewhere south of Tribor, maybe about a half a day's journey or so, I'm not entirely sure. The caravan's been reporting that they've been getting ambushed. It's a large number of individuals, maybe about 8 or 9 of them, seem to be disabling our caravans, and then as we're in the middle of repairs, they just outright attack us and then steal what they can. So far, they've been pretty successful with these guerrilla tactics of theirs, but I don't know what their motives are for it. I don't even know how the hell they know it's our stuff. We don't mark any of the cargo.
Most likely there's someone here in your organization that's tipping them off.
There's a bit of anger in his response as he says, I've known every single one of these people for longer than you've been alive, I imagine, young lady. I trust each and every one of them. If you're telling me there's some kind of spy amongst my midst, how dare you accuse us?
Doesn't need to be someone you hired, just someone in the city. Could be a stable boy, sees where it came from, sees it go out the gate, passes the word along. It could be anyone.
Or it could be just that they recognize the makeup of the caravan. I'm sure a bunch of axes of Mirabar is pretty distinctive.
I wonder if it's that old man that was on the road that we saw. Seems random though.
See, he this individual, now that you've started speaking up, Perry, he kind of looks over to you, and there's There's a bit of recognition on his face for a moment, and he kind of stands up and he walks over towards you and he points at you and he says, "You, where did you get that armor?"
This armor? Well, I made it myself.
It looks a lot like Iron Hill. Who the hell are you?
I'm Perry Ironhill.
There's shock on his face, and he kind of, almost for a minute, he kind of forgets himself, and he's just kind of looking at your armor, and you watch now as he just, without asking, he just starts grabbing at your plate and your arms and starts lifting them and says, "So you're that one's little brat, huh?"
Yes, the one and the same.
Huh.
This is an unusual experience for me. I'm not on the receiving end of an inspection, typically.
Well, you can't pass up a good look at something that's done well, huh?
Yeah, I like to think that I learned a few tricks from him.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Yeah. So he eventually says to you, Perry, he's like, "Well, I knew Tongueheart made an apprentice, but I didn't think he taught him so well, and it seems that they passed it down to you."
Yeah, he likes to. He's always showing me everything he knows. He always called me his lucky charm.
Well, I'm glad to see that their Tongueheart's line of craftsman work hasn't died out. That old bastard, he left here longer than I care to remember. But anyway, business comes first. So, what propose you to be doing about this Crimson Five and their annoying thorn in our side?
I don't suppose you know where they are?
Best we can tell, those bastards abscond into the Sword Mountains somewhere and hide until they are ready to strike us. I'd say...
Our
Go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say our main thought is maybe we help escort a caravan down the long road and protect it.
Make a persuasion check.
Why do I always end up getting the persuasion check?
You're trying to convince him to go back on that route where he knows it's going to get hit.
I'll give you help on that, bro.
That's
Yeah.
the best way to find them.
Yeah, I would say you could do it with advantage if Perry's chiming in to help with that. Nice. He thinks about it for a moment and he says, "We've lost a lot of shipments running that road. And then he just kind of looks at you for a moment, Perry. "If you think you can handle it, I'd be willing to give it another shot. Lower these little sewer rats out of their caves."
I think it's our best bet. No? Otherwise, we're just guessing. I can't. By the time we find them in the Sword Mountains, you'll lost another caravan or two. And they'll figure it out you're going through the high road.
Yeah, you might be right there. I figured they couldn't be hanging out too far away from the main road. Otherwise, I don't know how the hell they're transporting all that equipment back. But if you think lowering them out and turning the tides a little bit might suit you better, by all means. Next shipment won't be for about another week or so.
Another week.
Gives
Suppose
us
we
some
could.
time to
Yeah.
prepare.
Yeah.
Right. All right. And then from that point on, essentially, what Heller does is he kind of puts you in contact with the man in charge who's going to be running the next shipment out, as he kind of explains the situation. Give me 1 second. Where is his name? Yeah. So he eventually puts you in touch with a Horseshuck Metal Fury, who is essentially he's a private guard for the Brewhood Company, and he's responsible for trying to protect the shipments that are going back and forth on the long road. And within time, he would eventually explain to you guys that the shipment typically has about 7 wagons full of metal that get shipped down to Waterdeep. Um, he clearly can tell you because he was on the last shipment that got raided. Because he didn't go on this current one because they took another route. He explains to you that while there are a handful of individuals that seem to be ambushing, it seems that only 4 of them uh, seem to be in some semblance like a leader or something. That they're the ones calling the shots, and they're the first ones to strike to incapacitate the caravan as best they can. Um, through through conversation with them, they eventually tell you that one of them appears to be half orc, one appears to be a short little bugger, one they can't tell, they could never see their face because they were always wearing a hood, but they swore that they were wearing a lot of metal. And then I want to say he recalls that possibly a fourth one that might have been a human or so.
Was there any magic that was cast, or was it all practical weapons?
Oh no, they definitely have some kind of arcane uses. There's no way 4 individuals could incapacitate a large caravan with any other means. Not quickly and get out of there.
Can you describe kind of what sort of magics happen, maybe, so I could maybe prepare in some way?
I'm gonna be frank with you. Arcane funny business isn't really looked highly on here within the city. We don't have a lot of that kind of practice going on. I don't know much about it. All I know is when people start saying funny words and throwing their hands at us, best get the fuck out of the way.
Let me put it another way then. Big balls of fire, or like, can you describe any of the practical effects that you experienced?
We've had horses that have just passed out. We've had wagons that have fallen apart. We just seem to get blindsided. Never saw them coming until they were right in front of us.
If you were to see these individuals again, would you be able to point them out?
Sure, they'd be the ones taking my shit.
I'm gonna use my you know, just grab a sheet of paper and use my magical tinkering to draw the group of bandits that try to steal our
Okay, just so you know,
horses.
you used, what, 4 of your abilities before copying that letter, and then you did 1 magical tinkering to make paper wings for Ellis. So another chunk of words are going to disappear if you do this.
That's fine.
Okay. So what are you going to do with it? You're just going to redraw what you saw?
Yeah, just kind of like a sketch of the those bandits.
The individuals you saw at the yawning portal?
No, the bandits at the that try to steal our horses.
Ah, gotcha. So, make a dexterity check. So there's some stick figures with some hair. You do your best to try to recreate the image of these individuals that you saw in the dark, and then just had a brief run-in with. Yeah, you're nearby. You can re-roll it. I'm sure it'll be good. See? So, like I said, you do your best to draw a recreation of what you saw from these guys in the dark. These 4 human individuals with crossbows. And it's fine with me. Horsuck looks at it and he goes, well, I can tell you for certain, none of these ones are half-orc at all. And they all appear to be about the same freaking height, so, unless you weren't paying attention to a thing I said, I don't think these are the fucking ones.
But I asked you if you could recognize them.
I've never seen these assholes in my life.
Okay. And then I will draw sorry, I was trying to find the notes for that session of their description, and but I will draw the group, from the yawning portal.
Okay, yeah. So, upon drawing that, make another dexterity check. Okay. Bit of a rougher sketch, but still pretty good. Horsuck looks at these and he goes, well, wait, I thought you hadn't seen anybody on the road the ride up here. Where did you meet these?
I'm just going off your descriptions, I imagine I'm fairly close to what they look like.
I'd say you're fucking spit on. These are the fucking assholes who've been attacking us.
No, I just show everyone so they have a. Well, I'm sure they may know the group or not, but I will show everyone.
Let me pull
Seems
up
like
my
these are the
notes.
guys we're looking for.
Wait, these guys?
I have those notes written somewhere, but I have to dig those out.
They're in my notes too.
Sure. We'll get it out. But yeah, so you guys see the very familiar, or not familiar, you guys, what you see is a collage of individuals, 4 in total, of various sizing and statures. You see what appears to be like a female halfling or gnome, you're not entirely sure. One hooded individual, but Tizio makes note to make it more prominent that he has on a very similar looking gauntlet to the one that Tizio has. And then you can see that there's a half-orc who appears to have like some kind of sword or something on his back, and you can see that he has rather prominent tusks in the front of his face, and then you can see that there appears to be like a rather mousy looking human.
So, there's only 4 of them?
I'm sorry, what was that?
There's only 4 of them?
Yes, from what I have, yes, 4. I guess they could have hired other hands, perhaps, or maybe there's others I don't know about or I haven't seen.
I was expecting a bigger party when I heard that the caravan guards couldn't take care of it.
Yeah, he did say that there were 8 or 9 of them. No descriptions on the others?
I mean, these four individuals are the ones that attack us directly out first, and it isn't until after they've subdued our caravan that these other little rats start running out of their holes and start ravaging through the caravans and grabbing shit. I don't think they're much of a threat. They just seem to be the lackeys.
Have you seen which direction they go after the you got hijacked?
I gotta roll. Hold on. It's it's been a little while since I've been hit, since the caravan's been hit. Well, I'm not entirely sure where exactly they're going, just that they're running up into the mountains. Don't know how far. Not really my job to chase after them. At least I'd lose my own fucking head.
DM, is that the Sword Mountains or on the map itself?
Correct.
Okay.
The Sword Mountains kind of breaks up in the middle of the long road and extends all the way to the right side where the Discern River is.
Gotcha.
But from what he remembers, and it's kind of hard to do because he explains that the guards, like, so with these 7 caravans, it's not like they don't send like a whole little army with to protect these caravans. They send like 4 or 5 at most armed individuals from the Axis of Mirabar to escort this stuff, and it's a costly affair. And then they have um, Korsak as the additional private guard to just kind of watch over the things as best he can. But after talking with him for a little bit, you get the sense like, he does everything he can to try to protect the caravans, but he's not gonna, throw his life away chasing after individuals. But he feels much more confident in trying to set some kind of counterattack.
Is there any other information we need from this guy? Asking the group.
Do you recommend a good tavern?
Well, it depends. Are you looking to get fucked up or just have some kind of fizzy drink?
Fucked up sounds fun.
Well, let's go hit the belching boar then.
Well, we've got almost a week before we have to leave. I'd say we've got plenty of time to talk.
Pub crawl? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, well, because there's going to be a week for the next shipment.
You know if there's anyone in town we could talk to about finding some work for them in the meantime?
Down here, probably not. Most of us are already hired, and I'll be quite honest with you. None of y'all are dwarves, so you ain't gonna get any fucking work down here. But I'm sure somebody up there on the top on the surface will maybe find something for you to do.
Do you guys have exotic pet stores?
No.
Oh. Okay.
But you look like a bit of a strong lad yourself. Why don't you go check out some of the pits?
DM, I will use this time to reiterate the fact that I don't look strong.
You are absolutely right. I could just imagine a barbarian being strong. You're right. You do look a little lithe. Never mind.
Hey, something like you look like someone who can handle themselves.
Fair. He would notice that you're not wearing a lot of armor like the rest of the group is, and be like, huh. So he would ask you, you look like you can handle yourself in a fight. Do you like it?
I mean, yes, yes, I do. I do like to fight things.
Well, if you're ever interested in hitting a scrap up or two, you can always go check out the fighting rings.
You mean they have pits here that aren't illegal?
God no, what else would we fucking do with our time?
I don't know. Ask Waterdeep. You're obviously much more advanced than they are.
They're all wrapped up in their prissy government bullshit. Things are pretty simple here. You work, you sleep, you fight, and get fucked up at the end of it all.
Well, I wouldn't mind doing that. Yep, sounds like a good week.
Cool, cool. Okay. So, I guess what would happen here is because you guys are just the timing of it, you guys are just kind of stuck either in Mirabar for a week, or what do you guys want to do?
Maybe just explore. I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to see if I wanted to kind of see if we could find work. Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
If we can't, I have other plans. But
No, absolutely. Okay, so explore. For exploring, there is actually, for you, Perry, specifically, there are tons of blacksmiths here. There are all different types of ore, and it's actually cheaper because it is mined right here, um, through the mountain system. And as you kind of spend time here, it seems to be real easy for you to be able to strike conversations with these dwarves and with the local populace, because they, for one, see your symbol of Moradin, so you immediately get along with them on that front. And when you start asking questions about, the different types of crafts and things that are going on, um, you seem to get the most straightforward answer and the most help. There is a temple to Morden, rather large. There is also a even larger one in the Undercity, but kind of reserved for those who are of dwarven descent directly. Um, you do gather that the larger populace up on the surface, while human, they support the Undercity itself, because they are the ones that help with the orchestrating of um, manual labor for transporting of goods, just making sure that the influx of agriculture and things like that are available and provided for the people who live under the city. So there's a working dynamic between the two. And then you learn that the Axes of Mirabar, the dwarven guards of the city, they're charged with protecting the city and its people. Uh, and I would say that you find out that arcane use within the city, super frowned upon, just because of the fact that a long time back there were some problems with arcane users that caused a lot of destruction, especially during the War of the Silver Marches. But nevertheless, um, clerics and people of divine nature typically have no problem here.
So I was gonna ask, is there a different? I guess so. There is a difference between like a cleric casting a spell and like a wizard casting a spell.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so for a wizard to be using arcane magic within the city, it's not necessarily illegal, but they will seriously be like, no, like do not do this. But clerics and people of faith, because of the fact that you are not drawing from kind of out of character, you're not drawing from the weave. You are being granted powers from the divine, and so therefore you are not disturbing the balance of witches. For Utalum, as far as work goes,
Well, I meant adventuring work. If we don't find anything for the
oh,
party, then I'll just
got
hang
you.
out with them.
Yeah, yeah, no. Actually, there is. So, I have to dig through and find my note on it, but spending some time here within the city, you actually do find out that there is another company that works within the Undercity, and thankfully, because Horsuck likes Perry, he would let you guys know that there has been some trouble in some of the mining veins. Nothing that generally gets too out of hand, but it has slowed down production a little bit, and it's kind of causing them to fall back on their quotas. And in short, like he hears this in passing because he hasn't been hired or tasked out to do anything like that, and they don't. His company deals with the refining and shipment of this ore, not the mining process. But he would point you over in that direction, and if you guys wanted to, you could talk to the individuals in charge, possibly about exploring some mines.
Ooh, I'd be up for that.
Okay.
That and buying enough metal for 2 things of plate mail, full plate.
Okay. That's 65 pounds each, right?
Think so?
Give me 1 second.
I want to say yeah. I think
For
you're right.
for full plate.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. So a full plate of a particular kind. Are you trying to look for just a basic steel, I assume?
Uh, I guess.
Yeah. So what typically would cost you about like 4 gold per pound, cost you 2,
Yeah.
because, well, actually, make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Yes.
Ellis, you can make a whole week's worth of beard rolls if you like. So go ahead and you can make like I think it took you guys nice 7 beard rolls if you like. Persuasion 20. Yeah, so you are getting it for like a super good fractional price. So let's see here. You can get for 86 gold. You can get enough steel to produce 2 full plate sets. Like the materials that you'll need to start doing the casting.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 successes. Okay, very nice.
I'll probably just pay. I guess could I ask them to put it in the caravan if I give them a little extra gold?
Oh, to ship it back? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it would probably fit in the bag of holding if there's space.
That's what I'm saying. There isn't. It looks like.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what kind of volume are we talking? There's probably enough weight.
Let's see, the weight of that's 65 times 2, so it's 130 something pounds.
Yeah, there's room in the bag weight-wise. I don't know volume-wise.
Well, you guys got all the gold out of there, so what do you have in the bag?
Oh, then just random shit. Nothing very big then.
So
yeah,
yeah,
so that, it would probably fit then.
yeah, because I think you guys cashed out that gold, unless you're keeping that your personal 10 grand funds in there too.
I mean, mine is not very many. It's like 100 platinum pieces or something, so it's not going to kick up very much space.
Okay, yeah, I'd say you have enough space in there if you want to throw it in the bag.
Sure, that's fine with me.
You said it was, so it's 130 pounds, it's 2 gold piece.
It was like about 1.5. So for about 86 gold, you're getting 2 full sets.
Bam.
So just mark off like 130 pounds of steel. I think that's the right weight for it, right? Let me see here.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That's a deal right there.
That's a super deal for you. Yeah, for basic adventuring stuff, but not to lug around 130 pounds of steel.
When it says
Our-
strength score, it's talking about the modifier, not.
Right, the modifier.
Okay.
So if your modifier is 3 times 15.
I mean,
Poor-
if we had
poor
a cart, we
horses.
could do like some major trading right now. We just buy a shit ton of metal, sell it in Waterdeep, get a trade route going.
Gotta get that economy running.
Oh, we should get some dwarven ale. Add that to our tavern.
If you guys would
Like
like,
a limited series.
An import.
Ooh, there you go.
okay.
Sure, it's the modifier.
No, it can't be the modifier. It's got to be your strength, your
I
actual
was gonna say because
score.
I'm
Yeah.
45 pounds is my weight limit.
Yeah. So if your strength score is 10 times 15, you can carry 150 pounds.
Well, for me, like my strength. Well, my strength score is 10, as in I have no modifier, and my total capacity is 150.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I just said.
Yeah. I thought he said the other way around. I'm sorry. Maybe I misheard.
Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, if you guys want just to shop around for some different ales, who wants to do that check?
Well, I was actually gonna say maybe I can like incorporate that into what I was gonna do. Because I was going to see about like any magic shops and like points of interest and stuff like that.
There are no magic
Since
shops
it
here.
okay, so and then like magic item shop is what I meant. Sorry, but
Yeah. So and Perry would tell you this. Arcane magic, super frowned upon here.
so
So
even okay,
there,
I
yeah.
didn't think that would that
So
included magic items.
well, yeah, because most magic items are usually enchanted by some kind of arcane user. There are churches that will take time to imbue magical items, but typically those things have like divine magic things. So, and they don't do it very often, um, at least in this area.
Yeah, then I would just do like I guess points of interest, and I guess I'd look into that to see what we can do, see what shops or not shops, taverns are doing here that are not in Waterdeep.
Yeah, yeah. So go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay, there it is. It's
Okay.
21. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Um, let's see here. Okay, so nope. So taking some time to essentially pub crawl around the city a little bit and just invest your palate in various different ales and whiskeys that the fine dwarves and humans of Mirabar have created. You find 3. One of them is a very soury black looking ale called Bitter Black. There's another one which is it almost seems kind of basic for an ale, but it has a very strong alcohol base to it called deep ale. And then you find a whiskey, and this one is called it's Mirabar fire whiskey is what it is. And this one has a strong kick with like almost like if you're drinking like something with cinnamon in it. It's got that burning aftertaste. All
Well,
wonderful in their own right, but it's up to you if you what you like.
yeah, no, I would yeah, I would take that back to the group. Um, and obviously it's a group tavern, so I won't make that a decision. Kind of see take a vote on it.
Claire,
I
is
mean,
there anything you're doing also? Sorry, Talon. Go ahead.
no, I didn't really have anything to say.
No, nothing really.
Okay.
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. Well, I mean, Tizio comes back with a couple samples of various different ales.
Well, actually, I suppose is it possible I can just like wander the city just to try and like get an idea of the layout, so in case I have to, for whatever reason, chase a devil through it or some shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this week, as you're kind of spending time just wandering throughout the city, um, people are not as afraid of you here than they were in Waterdeep. And I don't mean afraid as in like scared of you, but you recall
Intimidated.
walking. Yeah, they weren't timid. They just kind of look at you and they go, "Oh, okay. Well, there you are. There you go." And you don't seem to have any problems navigating through the cities. But you can definitely wander your way around. Um, there are a lot of places to drink in this city. There are a lot of places to purchase various different bits of metal and forged materials. This appears to be a very labor focused place, but what's the right word for it? You feel very comfortable in the entirety of it. Um, no, he doesn't. There are some with tails, but he doesn't.
Yeah, mostly I'd be interested in maybe checking out the caves, or if we're not doing that, I'll try to read my book thing, my leather-bound book thing with brass pages.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well,
But if we're going caving, then I won't do that. That's up to the party.
I'm down for cave looking.
Let's go spelunking, man.
It's either that or we working on this plate now.
so,
Shit started.
Let's go caving.
okay. So, what you guys eventually come across, especially with the help of Hazak, is an individual who is, for lack of a better term, he's the foreman of one of the excavations into the mines that lead up towards the spine of the world. And his name is Dumathorn Blackrock. And his mining excavation company is called the Iron Fist First. And in short,
Sorry,
what's up?
Iron Fist first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can all go on this if you guys want to go cave diving.
Was this that side quest thing? We're troubling some Danes.
You guys
Whatever.
were talking and during your week of downtime. There's if you guys wanted to do it.
I mean, if one person's going, we probably all should be going.
Yeah, if you guys want.
I
But
mean, I hope we all went.
yeah, Doomthorn he would explain to you guys that in essence they are responsible for the extension of already excavated mines to delve deeper into the spine of the world and look for richer veins of minerals and things that can help increase the amount of productivity so that they can meet their quotas throughout the city. Um, it's been tough because while the axes of Mirabar are the protection for the city, there's a very limited number of individuals who can actually guard the interiors of the mines. From time to time, they'll hit a vein that pops open and they'll find a random cave of maybe like some Duragar or a pack of kobolds that seem to have just like traversed some naturally occurring tunnel system. Lately, it's been tougher for them because they've been getting deeper into the mines but don't have the manpower to protect that which they are digging into. And so if they would be happy to hire a couple of adventurers such as yourselves to kind of like go and explore the some of the natural cave system that they uncovered recently, and if you can clear it out of any kind of dangers so that their miners can come in and start pulling from the veins that were supposed to be down there, they would be extremely grateful.
If I find
Grateful to
anything
the
that
tune of what
I needed,
amount of gold?
Give me 1 second. If I could type properly. Blackrock would he would kind of look at you guys and say, "Well, if you're able to clean out the mess of this underground network and ensure that all the various tunnels and passages are free from any dangers or anything that can cause a problem, um, we'd be happy to give you about 5,000 gold as a group."
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
t- Tizio, so for your question, I mean, yes, they're talking to you guys in common when they're talking amongst themselves, and a lot of the humans up top in the surface, they're talking Dwarvish.
okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure on that. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, this. Hmm. Can I talk him into giving us a little more?
What would you say to do that?
Yeah, that's the hard part. Um, he's a dwarf, correct?
So my headset disconnected. Say it one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's a dwarf, correct?
He is.
I will say in a dwarvish, uh, just kind of like the stupid. Come on, you know you can give us more than that.
6,000 is more easily divisible by 6.
Hey, there you go.
um.
Also, I speak Dwarvish.
Hey,
Okay. Go ahead and make a persuasion check. Very nice. Okay. So Doomathorn would look to the two of you, surprised but with a happy smile on his face, and he says, "All right, 6,000 gold even, and bring me the ears of anything you kill down there, and I'll tack on an extra 50 gold per."
I'll look at Kilarian, see if that's okay with him.
Yeah. Oh, I was just giving you the suggestion. But yeah,
And when he says 50 gold per ear, he means per set of ears.
what do you mean set of ears?
Like if you kill something, you take their ears, he'll give you an additional 50 gold per thing you kill.
Okay, so individual ears, not. He said set, so I'm just.
Yeah, so like if a
What amount would be a
goblin
set?
has a goblin has 2 ears, that's a set of ears.
Okay. So he wants. Does he want both ears?
Well, how else would I know that are set?
Yeah. What if you come across something like an Elithid that doesn't have ears?
Or what if it has like
That was
more
out
than
of
2
character,
ears?
by the way.
You'll have to
Killing something with more than 2 ears would be efficient. That would be. We should aim for that.
Suppose if we come across a mind flare, take the tentacles. Or the head. The head.
Sure, tell 'em. As long as they can recognize him as an ear. Okay. So,
I'm gonna try and scan the doors.
so he reaches out with a happy, firm shake of a hand to the two of you, and he says, "All right. So we have a deal." And I mean, are you guys? He asks like, do you guys want to go now? Or are you all set to go? We get this underway and get our business taken care of.
I've got everything on me, so I'm ready right now.
Fantastic! I like it. What do you guys call yourselves anyway?
Nothing right now.
That's a complicated question. We'll get back to you when we come back.
For pursuers.
Troll School Regiment, right? Troll
He's
School Regiment?
he's just like kind of looking at the group of you guys.
We don't exactly have a name for our merry band.
We're thinking of the Brew Crew, but we're not sure.
I actually kind of like that one. But
Right, the Merry Brew Crew, whatever you are. Okay, well, let me take over here, and you watch as you guys had to go to the Undercity for this, and thankfully, because again of the caravan leader escorting you guys through and down there, you are able to be escorted further down into the city's proper area, where there's a large mine shaft that descends a god-awful amount. And you watch as you're all kind of like loaded up into this mine shaft, this elevator-like situation, and you slowly begin descending down. Not with Blackrock, and not with Harsuk, but we'll find out next week what happens when you get to the bottom.
Light's a cantrip, isn't it?
Light?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can it be cast on more than one thing at a time?
No, sir.
Damn. Alright.
Well, so just so you guys understand, while you guys are traversing down the mine shaft that's already been, managed and maintained, there is light throughout the cavern. So there are these like kind of like redstone sconces, and you see some amber ones here and there that are just illuminating different parts. It's dim, low light throughout the majority of the Undercity. And
Okay.
you guesstimate because these guys can see in the dark. But once you guys get down and are escorted into the mining veins that have been uncharted, you guys are kind of on your own for vision.
Oh, that's a problem for next week, then.
But awesome. Yeah, so what we'll do is we will pick up next time as you guys descend down the elevator shaft into the mines of Mirabar, near the spine of the world, and get to explore some untapped resources.
give me some gems.
Hey,
I was gonna say, did Perry like pay for his stuff, and now he could just have gotten it for free down here?
well,
Yeah, if we brought some pickaxes and got to hard labor.
Well, also, it's not just like here's one giant chunk of iron. It's you gotta mine out the ore, and then you gotta separate it and all that crap.
Plus,
absolutely.
steel is forged. It's not.
Yep.
Harry would know that.
He
Absolutely
absolutely
does.
does. Tizio would know that too.
Yay!
Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed the session. I hope the travel wasn't too tedious.
It's fun
Okay.
as always.
Awesome. All
I like that.
right.
We had a dragon descend upon us.
He
That was hilarious.
guys rolled a crazy number.
I was really hoping for another dragon if Eva didn't beat him to it.
Look, all I'm saying is you guys rolled the one and then you rolled the polar opposite of it and you went to bed for the night. So, you're good.
I'm gonna check my stuff, make sure everything's there.
Make a perception check. You'll find out next week as I look through your inventory.
No. Screenshot.
Look at that.
All right, have a good night. Thanks for playing,
Cheers,
everybody.
Good night.
Yoink.
Have a good night, guys.